The Magic of Thinking Big by David J. Schwartz. Let me tell you something real quick. Most people think success comes from being the smartest person in the room. But according to this book, that's totally wrong. Success doesn't come from having a crazy high IQ. It comes from how big you think. Yeah, seriously. And here's the wild part. There are people with average intelligence making millions, building empires, and living the life everyone dreams about. Meanwhile, some of the smartest people you know are stuck, broke, and frustrated. So what's the difference? That's exactly what this book exposes. And before we dive deep, listen carefully. At the end of this video, there's one simple mental trick from this book that can instantly change the way you see yourself and your future. Most people never discover it, and that's why they stay stuck their entire lives. So if you want to know that trick, stick around till the end. Now let's get into the story. Imagine two young guys starting their careers. Both graduate from college at the same time, both are smart, both work hard. But 10 years later, their lives look completely different. One guy becomes a top executive, driving a luxury car, living in a beautiful house, and leading a huge team. The other guy, still stuck in the same position, same salary, same routine, complaining about how unfair life is. So what happened? According to David J. Schwartz, the difference wasn't talent, it was thinking size. One guy thought small, the other guy thought big, and the guy who thought big acted big and eventually became big. That's the entire philosophy behind this book. Most people are trained since childhood to think small. Teachers say, don't aim too high. Friends say, be realistic. Family says, just get a stable job. And slowly, without realizing it, people start shrinking their dreams. They stop believing in themselves. They start thinking things like, I'm not smart enough. I don't have connections. I'm not lucky. But David Schwartz says something powerful. Belief is the engine of success. If you truly believe something is possible, your brain will start finding ways to make it happen. But if you believe something is impossible, your brain will immediately shut down. No ideas, no creativity, no action. That's why belief is everything. Now here's one of the most powerful lessons from the book. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. And the easiest way to build confidence is simple. Take action. Think about it. When you avoid something because you're scared, the fear grows bigger and bigger. But the moment you face it, the fear starts shrinking. For example, let's say someone is afraid of speaking in public. They keep avoiding presentations, they stay silent in meetings, they never raise their hand, so their fear keeps growing. But imagine that same person forces themselves to speak once. Maybe it's awkward, maybe they mess up a little, but guess what? They survive. And suddenly their brain realizes, wait, that wasn't so scary. Do it again, and again, and again. Eventually, that fear disappears, and confidence takes its place. Another major idea in the book is this: excuses are dream killers. People always have an excuse ready. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm not educated enough. I don't have money. But Schwartz calls these excuse diseases, and they spread like a virus, because the moment you start believing your excuses, you stop trying. And the moment you stop trying, your future freezes. The truth is, every successful person faced bigger obstacles than most people ever will. But they didn't focus on the obstacle, they focused on the opportunity. Now here's something that might surprise you. The book says, your environment shapes your thinking. If you spend time around negative people, your thinking becomes negative. If you spend time around people who constantly complain, you start complaining too. But if you surround yourself with ambitious people, dreamers, builders, your mind starts expanding. Your goals become bigger. Your standards become higher. That's why successful people are extremely careful about their environment. They protect their mindset like it's gold. Let's talk about another powerful idea. Successful people think in solutions, not problems. Average thinkers see obstacles. Big thinkers see possibilities. For example, imagine a company facing a big financial crisis. Most employees panic. They say, "This is impossible. We're doomed." But a big thinker asks a different question. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening?" they ask, "How can we fix this?" That single question changes everything, because problems shrink when you focus on solutions, and solutions appear when your mind stays open. David Schwartz also explains something fascinating about how we see ourselves. Your self-image determines your results. If you secretly believe you're average, you'll behave like an average person. But if you start seeing yourself as someone capable of extraordinary things, your actions will slowly match that belief. This is why visualization is so powerful. Successful people constantly imagine their future. They picture their success. They imagine achieving their goals. And that mental image slowly becomes reality. Another lesson from the book is about thinking like a leader. Leaders don't blame people. They inspire people. They don't criticize every mistake. They focus on solutions. And most importantly, they make people feel important. Schwartz explains that everyone wants to feel valued. When you respect people, appreciate them, and recognize their efforts, they naturally want to support you. That's the secret behind great leadership. Now here's a truth most people don't want to hear. Your thoughts control your life. Every action begins with a thought. If your thoughts are small, your actions will be small. If your thoughts are powerful, your actions will be powerful. That's why Schwartz says you must train your mind daily, feed it positive ideas, read great books, listen to inspiring stories, protect your mental diet, because whatever enters your mind eventually shapes your future. Now we're getting close to the end, and remember earlier I told you there's a simple mental trick from this book that can instantly change the way you think? Here it is. Whenever you face a challenge, ask yourself one question. What would a big thinker do in this situation? Seriously, just pause and ask that question. Would a big thinker quit? Would a big thinker complain? Would a big thinker play small? Of course not. A big thinker would take action. A big thinker would look for opportunities. A big thinker would believe something amazing is still possible. And the crazy part is, the more you ask this question, the more your brain starts thinking bigger automatically. Your decisions change. Your confidence grows. Your life starts moving in a completely different direction. So here's the real message of the magic of thinking big. You don't need to be the smartest person in the world. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need unlimited resources. All you need is the courage to think bigger than your fears. Because the moment your thinking expands, your life expands with it. And maybe, just maybe, the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the size of your thinking. So the real question is, how big are you willing to think?